Hi guys, Michael here. Now we're going to be using Tinkercad today to build a house, and with that house we're going to show off the brick mode, which allows you to turn your creations into kind of a Lego-esque style, and moreover gives you the ability to build those by giving you step-by-step instructions. So let's get started. First thing we're going to do when we build this house, we're going to grab this box. I'm going to shrink it down to give it a width about 4. And we're going to give it a length of about 80. We're then going to duplicate this one rather than making the exact same one again by coming up here and do the duplicate repeat. We're going to rotate it 90 degrees and then move it up into this top corner here so that they overlap like this. Then what we're going to do is we're going to select everything, clicking and dragging the mouse. Go up to the group tool, group them. We're going to duplicate them again. This time I'm going to hit Control D on my keyboard. Then I'm going to rotate the duplicated pieces 180 degrees until it looks like this. Once that's the case, I'm going to select everything again and group it one more time. Now we have the outer area of our house. So let's go ahead and just add a door so we know where to orient ourselves. I'm going to grab this whole box up here. I'm going to slide it in there like this, and then I'm going to select everything, align tool up here, and I'm going to align it so that it's centered along this axis. Then I'm going to group it while they're still selected, and now I have a door. Let's go ahead and decorate this house. Let's add some furniture. First thing I want to do is I want to have a bed. So I'm going to drag this box in here. I'm going to lower its height down to about 5. Sounds about good. I'm going to try to make the pillow part of the bed first. I'm going to turn it white. Then let's change it down to give it about a length of 10. Looks good. Alright, we're going to add another box. Change it down to 5, just like the pillow section. Drag it up just a little bit so that it's touching this pillow. And then I'm going to drag this down so it's about 30 millimeters high. And then we're going to change it to, let's say, about this blue color. Yeah, that looks good. Alright, so now we have a nice little bed. Let's just throw in an end table there. There's somewhere to put our lamp if we decide to make that. About 5. Let's go with this brown color. I really like how long it is too. I'm going to change it to about 10. There we go. Alright, move it over just a little bit. Alright, so we got a nice end table, we got a bed. Let's go ahead and add, let's say, a table. Grab this, drop it down to 10, and we're going to drag it up. And let's do about 5. There we go. Alright, now let's get some legs. Drag that into 5 by 5. Remember, if I'm going a little too fast for you, you can always slow the video down or go back and check out what I just did. I'm going to duplicate that with Control D. Then once I have these two, I'm going to select both of them again. Control D to duplicate and move them over. And then I'm going to select all 5 of them. Let's see, shapes 5. I'm going to go up to the color menu, change it to brown, and then I'm going to group them. There we go, got a nice little table. Alright, let's go ahead and add some very rudimentary chairs. So I'm going to put this nice block here and drop it down to 5. Then I'm going to duplicate it, rotate it 90 degrees, move it over, and then drag it up. Just so it's touching the work plane here, so it's intersecting with the bottom part. I'm going to select both of them, change the colors, let's do a lighter brown, and then group them. There we go, got a nice chair. Of course, if you're expecting company, you want somewhere for them to sit. I'm going to duplicate. I'm going to use the mirror tool up here to reflect it, and then we're going to drag it over. There we go. Alright, and then maybe one last piece of furniture. Let me say, I want to put some stuff in my little house, so I'll need like a foot locker. So let's create a nice little foot locker. We're just gonna go down to 5 again, drag it into 10. Or let's say, yeah, 10 looks about good. Alright, and then let's just see how the brick mode treats rounded edges, because in brick mode it really only likes squares, very predictable shapes. So we're gonna add this just to see what happens. Change this to 10. Oops, that was 11, 10. Bring this down to, let's say, about 5. And we're going to move it over. and drag it up. And let's change the color to like a lighter brown and change this red to a darker brown. Nice little footlocker. Let's move it over just a little bit. All right, so we got our nice little house here. Let's go ahead and drag up the walls so that they at least cover our heads. So let's bring this up from 20 to about 40. And you notice when we do that, it gets kind of, cramped in here. So let's add a few windows. Let's grab a box again. Drag it up to about 10. Move it in. And then we're going to select the walls and this at the same time. So I can hold Shift to select these two together. Then I'm going to go to the Align tool. And notice if I do this, the walls move a little bit as well, which can be kind of annoying because we've already aligned everything inside. So in order to keep them from jumping, I'm going to go to the Align tool and I'm going to click on the walls one more time. And you notice now these little alignment points jump so that they're surrounding just the wall. So now when I click here, it just moves this box. So we're aligning relative to the walls. Let's do this again. Grab this box, move over here, hold Shift, select the walls. And again, click on the walls so that it's aligning just to the walls. Move it so it's nice and centered. And we're going to do this one more time, except this time I've already aligned this one. So when I hit duplicate and then hold Shift and drag it over, it only goes on one axis. So I know that it's going to be aligned on this side as well. All right, it doesn't matter how far they stick out or in, or even if it intersects with this table, because when we hold Shift and click all three cubes and the walls, and if I hit group, it only groups it with what I've selected. So in this case, it avoids the table. All right, so now I got a lot of windows in my house as well as the door. Let's go ahead and add a roof. And this roof comes out kind of small, so let's go check our dimensions for the walls. So it's 80 by 80. I'm gonna click on this, I'm gonna change it 80. I'm gonna hit Tab to switch to the other one, 80. All right, see if I can align it without using the Align tool, which looks like it's about good. And it's a little flat of a roof, so let's drag it up to about, let's say 30. There we go. And just for posterity, let's go ahead and group these two together. We get a greenhouse. Let's change this house color. I want to do like a nice pink. Sure, let's do that. All right, so let's go ahead. Now that we've created our model in Tinkercad, let's see what it looks like in the brick menu. So if we go up here, you see where it says bricks. If we click on that, it comes up with this little model. Now you notice, of course, it's missing quite a few things. That's because the brick way it generates this is not exactly the most comprehensive. You can see the tables coming through the window. Now this is at a 1-to-1 ratio. I like working in the 2 times, which is the second one right here, because it comes with much more predictable results, if not a bit bigger. You can see the size of the bricks are a lot larger. But you can see our rounded trunk didn't really come out. It's still just a big block. The bed came out quite nicely, as did our nice little end table. And while the chair looks like it's pushed up a little bit more on the table, it still came out. The windows came out quite wonderfully as well. And we even got a bit of a nice roof here. Now we can look at it in the 3 times, which is noticeably large. The bigger your model, the longer it takes for it to generate. But you can see we got some of this rounded on the trunk right here. The bed is a lot bigger. And everything else looks just about the same, except for this window looks like it's absorbed some of the table, which is quite happens. All right, let's go back to 2. So one of the cool features of the brick mode is if you change it from ground to layers, you can get what's essentially a step-by-step guide to building this model yourself. So you can see the first layer has all these bricks, and if I click this little thing down here, it has this layer has these bricks, and so on and so forth, allowing you to build whatever your model is. Now this can apply to a lot of other 3D models. You know, this is the Boston Dynamics spot robot that we made in another tutorial. If I were to switch this to brick mode, you can see it comes out quite hilarious in the 1 times. Change it to 2 times, comes out with a pretty good representation of what we've made. And then 3 times, much better looking and much closer to what it is. Same goes for the 3D coral that we made. 1 times, pretty okay. 2 times looks a lot better though. And of course 3 times will take a while to generate, but it comes out the best looking, if not the largest by far. And one little thing I want to note, if we go back to the very first tutorial, the Minecraft bed, sometimes it never really comes out at all, simply being that it's so small that the 1 and 2 times can't handle it, and by the time you get to 3 times, it's just so much larger than it was intended to be. So at that point, you can kind of practice your own discretion. It's much easier. You could see you just put some red bricks here, some white bricks there, and then maybe 4 brown bricks to denote the legs. Other than that, that is the tutorial on how to use Tinkercad's brick system. Thank you guys for watching.